Hello and welcome to this week's coffee vlog. It's now Friday the 25th. Friday the 25th. I'm heading home at just after 5:30, so not so early this week. And yeah, this week has not been bad on the whole. It's been a little bit scrappy, if I'm fair. Taxi's attacking me and cutting the corner. But it's been okay, you know, it's not been a disaster, not been too bad, workload wise, caught up with a load of stuff, did actually pretty much got finalised with the VAT inspection thing. We got through everything in the end, and yeah, I think pretty much I found 98% of what he wanted as far as supporting documents. One that I couldn't find, they went through and realised they couldn't find it in the documentation they thought they'd found it in. So they were a bit perplexed about that and agreed that it wasn't there to find, so I couldn't find that one. So pretty much found everything that I needed. So that's quite good. They're just finalising the report now and deciding how to deal with some of the minor indiscretions, which was basically just down to how I'd entered some DHL invoices where DHL had sneaked duty on and I hadn't realised. So there'll be a report on that and whatever else. There's a little bit to pay back, but on the whole, I get the impression of the people they inspect, we were not the worst by far. So that's good. So yeah, and it's been a funny old week. Last weekend didn't get up to a great deal. Went to the Peace Hall on Saturday, the newly revamped Peace Hall in Halifax, to have a look round. They got some event things on and we had a look at it. So that was good. Had a quick call in Square Chapel and it was packed, so we went back out again and didn't do anything. And they are getting through a lot of coffee. I had to roast some more coffee for them on Monday, and we dropped that off on Tuesday. Daytime there was a delivery, and I did an evening one and called in and just checked over the coffee grind as well to make sure the coffee was still coming out good. So that was all okay. Also did some coffee for the local Victorian craft beer in the centre of Halifax. They had some. Did deliveries on, when was that? Wednesday. Yeah, we did delivery there Wednesday. I also did coffee on the bean above Halifax Hospital, dropped them some coffee in, and Towngate Brasserie at Ipperome. I've done quite a lot of deliveries, and I went to Shibden Park today to drop off some disposable cups and things for them at the cafe there, and also went to the tip and got rid of some rubbish. That was not so exciting. So yeah, it's been you know, it's been all good. I've done a lot of local work, actually, surprisingly, for me, really. Oh, here comes a super speedy Seat Leon. Just don't ram into that car that's pulling out over there, you loon. So, yeah, it's been all go, really. But, you know, not a whole load of massive work and whatever else, but it's still been good. It's been okay. So other things that have been going on, apart from that, yeah, last weekend, did a lot on playing around with Steam It. Still, I'm getting still quite into that, really. Now that Paul's sort of shown me the way. Come on, little truck. A jumbuck. Whatever takes your fancy, I suppose, isn't it? So yeah, it's been okay, really. Steam It, I was catching up and playing about with that. Steam It's got this new D-Tube thing. So this is supposed to be sort of decentralized video sharing. And the way they're getting around sort of being caught on piracy and copyright and whatever else is, the videos you upload are being basically shared via, it's kind of like a torrent network or something. I don't really understand. I read up on how he was doing it and I didn't really understand it still, but you don't need to like know how it does it to know it does it, do you really? Let's just park here even though it's completely the wrong side. So, oh, it's my mate in as well. So yeah, that's pretty good. The DTube thing here, so it shares it on some torrent thing. Can I get my videos shared? No, nothing. Everything I tried to upload, and I spent many times trying to upload it, didn't want to work, didn't play. Got them to upload, just wouldn't play afterwards. So, but you know, I'm just going to stick maybe with just the main things. I'll keep trying now and again. Maybe I'll get a video to upload eventually and work out what it wants, because other people are doing it. Other people are uploading videos left, right, and centre, but just not me. I can't get it to work. Always the way with me, isn't it? Right, I am going to go and drop my parcels, and I'll be back shortly. See you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. It was just telling me in the petrol station that he's been very busy today because it's, of course, bank holiday weekend for us in the UK. So we get Monday off, and everyone is evidently rushing to get their fuel for their holiday weekend breaks. So yeah, it's been a kind of an interesting old week for me. A bit of tech related gubbins for a change. What a change for me, isn't it? My good old Apple Time Capsule, which Bob I know remembers from some years back. I think it's the 2011 version, so it's actually 6 years old, the first gen Time Capsule. And I picked it up used. It was about 1 3/4 years old when I got it, non-working because it had died. And what it had died of, common fault with the first gen Time Capsules, the way Apple designed them, with the power converter inside, and it overheated and burnt out some capacitors in it all the time. They kept dying. And some enterprising guy made up a kit of the correct capacitors and whatever, so you could desolder the broken ones and just solder the new ones on. So I got a, like I say, someone's dead one, and he was going to bin it in the end. I found out, I got it on eBay at auction, and it paid like 80 quid, which at the time was about what a 1 terabyte drive was that was in it. So, so I got it, stripped it down, managed to replace the bits, put it back together again, didn't put the stupid rubber mat on the bottom of the thing, because that was part of the problem. And they made it, and then they stuck a rubber base on, so it had hardly any airflow, and it just got super hot all the time. And then I put some like big rubber feet on, 4 rubber feet, so it had a good gap underneath the airflow, and it had got the metal plate underneath that was exposed, so it would literally cool better. So I've had that running for a long time. It's been fine, really, no problem, does its job. Monday, apparently the power went off at home while I was at work, and I got back home from work. I sort of sat on my MacBook. I thought, oh, the Time Capsule's not popped up, and then I was looking at the Wi-Fi, and it's Wi-Fi. Well, I never use its Wi-Fi really, because it's not particularly quick, but it's always floating there amongst the different Wi-Fi networks we have available. I wonder why is that? So I went up and it was on amber, solid amber. And of course I thought, oh well, the power's been off. I wonder if it's not booted right. So I kept turning it off while unplugging it, because there's no on-off button, because Apple on-off button. Warning, risk zone, speed limit. So I have to unplug it and then plug it in again and unplug it. Kept doing that, didn't work. So I kind of looked it up, this solid amber thing, and it tended to say that, you know, the hard drive dies. And this kind of rung a tune with me, because I got to admit, a lot of the time the internal hard drive, whenever I kept trying to transfer a lot of files to it, it tended to like lose connection and things. So, you know, make up your mind where you're going. So, oh, I turned the eco mode off. My God, it's a shock when you do that. So yeah. It's watch out for these lot. It says that the hard drive might have died, because that tends to happen, the hard drive's died. So I thought, I know, I'll get a new 1 terabyte 3.5-inch hard drive for it, because they're not too expensive nowadays. So I got one of that. So last night, away I went, fitting in the new hard drive. Bearing in mind, there's probably about 9 ridiculously tiny screws in the base that you've got to take out to get the base off. Then I was trying to get the base off and it wasn't coming off like I thought it should do, as iFixit said. And I was struggling. I was like, oh, it's like there's something still screwed into it. I've undone those screws and things. And it turned out what had actually happened, because the power conversion block bit that I'd got into to replace the capacitors, when I'd put it back together again, of course I'd split all the protective, like it's not metal but it's non-conductive heat resistant material that was around it. I'd split it all, so to seal it back up again I'd use electrical tape, as you do, and of course that can be a bit sticky, and it was around something really hot, so what had happened is all the sticky had leaked onto the metal plate and then stuck that bit onto the metal plate that I was trying to remove. So after a bit of effort, it eventually came off. I was kind of a bit concerned I might damage something else in there. Took the other old hard drive out, put the new one I got in, put it all back together, did all the stupid 9 tiny screws that dead fiddly, connected everything up, plugged it in, and it came up with amber light again. Right, so reboot it, do reset thing, reboot it. Not helping. Google, look at it, look at this, look at that. Turns out sometimes if you replace the hard drive it won't pick it up and does the solid amber light, because either it can't mount it, or else if you do very big ones or something it can't mount it. But reading about it, looking at it, it's like there's a lot of mention here about also, you know, the power brick can't supply enough power to the hard drive to get it going, because, you know, these old ones and they start dying out. Of course this one's died already and being repaired by me once. I'm thinking, so maybe it just can't run that 3.5-inch 1 terabit drive, because it just it's not got enough power to run it anymore. So, oh hello. Keep an eye out, not to get in trouble. Don't see any issue. Oh, hang on, there's a car down there and there's some police. It looks like there's been a bit of a crash or something, or a knock. Oh, there's a few police cars. Traffic chaos. There's always chaos. Didn't I say? Haven't I said before? Every week, chaos at that one. Chaos. So yeah, the police are well and truly in place there. So I then sort of thought, right, I'll have to take it back again. I know this is getting like 8:30 at night and I'm getting a bit fed up poking about inside it. But I had this bright idea. I thought, right, if the 3.5-inch, because that of course needs 12 volt and 5 volt lines at 3.5-inch to run it hard drive, why don't I connect in a 2.5-inch? Because I've got a 500 gigabyte 2.5-inch in an enclosure I was just using for general moving files about between the Macs. So I fished that out, took it out as an enclosure, took the thing apart again, plugged in the hard drive, and then didn't put it all back together again, because I thought I'm going to test it first. I'm not doing all this faffing about connecting and then it not work. So I sort of waited. Oh, check your beer, mate, that's it. Don't want to lose any of those Bud Lights. So connected it up and it came up with the amber light again while I plugged it in. So I was like, So I unplugged it completely. I thought I'll try it without the hard drive in, or maybe it'll just run without a hard drive and use it without one. And it did nothing, it didn't even power up like that. So I plugged the power into the hard drive, but not the data connection cable to the hard drive, to see if just having power to the hard drive would transfer power and let it boot. That didn't work either, just didn't light up at all. So I plugged all the bits back in again, just in case it'd help. Set it off, and it had the solid amber light. And I went and sat on my computer a bit puzzling. And then I noticed that the solid amber light went to a flashy light, which meant it was actually booted up and running again. I don't know why all these lot stood about staring. Some very strange things going on today. Very strange. So evidently it was booting finally with that drive. I just hadn't waited long enough, being me, you know, too eager, expecting it to work straight away. So cue me taping that in, because of course the 2.5-inch drive is way too tiny when it's in a 3.5-inch bay, and there's no way to connect it in anyway. So trusty electrical tape again to just keep it from straying around. It's not like you carry about a time capsule or anything. Once it's connected and it's good. All right, mate. So, taped it in, put it all back together, connected it all up, and it booted up and came to a green light and was happy. And even better than that, because I was expecting to have to format that hard drive, the hard drive was just picked up and it had all the files accessible on it from the time capsule that were on as a sort of as it was in the enclosure. So all the files were still there because it was already Mac formatted. So on the whole, that was pretty damn good. I was quite happy with that. So that booted up fine, did everything. Of course, it presented a new problem. I've got a new 1 terabit drive that I ordered that I can't use in it, and evidently the 1 terabit drive that was in it would probably work fine. It's just that the power in the thing couldn't run it, so that drive wasn't dead either. So I got two 1 terabit 3.5-inch drives and a time capsule with only 500 gigabytes in now when it had 1,000 or a terabyte. And more importantly, the time capsule is probably on the way out and going to die. So I was like, well, I could return the drive that I got, but you know, so in the end, I've ordered a twin NAS. It's a Buffalo NAS thing. It's probably not great. It was only 60 quid, so I doubt it's going to be very good at all. But it's a NAS, so I'm going to stick the two drives in that and then just connect them up to the Ethernet and it'll sit. I'm going to tuck it away in the house out of the way somewhere, and I'll have 2 terabytes of NAS storage available for all files and things. So hopefully that'll all resolve itself next week, and then I'll have umpteen amounts of network storage. The interesting thing I found with the time capsule, when I was transferring some files across last night to it, it's now much faster transferring over the network than it was before. But I think it was just getting hot as well, and that was making it struggle and bottleneck. And I think that drive wasn't very good, because I've got an external drive connected to the time capsule, that 500 gigabyte one as well. So mostly I was using that because it always kept struggling with the internal one. But I was doing stuff with the internal one and that worked as well, so that was good. Right, must do Richard Nellis's words of wisdom before I go in and have a break. So Mr Nellis says the thunder he had on early Thursday morning last week. I didn't hear it, I was asleep. I think my dad said about it. They had it in Brighouse. Cafe Candia closing down as the cafe opened up 40 years ago. Well, I suppose 40 years is a good run for a cafe, really. Death of Bruce Forsyth, Jerry Lewis and Jay Thomas, not all together in the bath. It's a rumour. Richard Nellis singing Every Breath You Take by the Police. Every breath you take. I'm going to sing a lot of Elvis Presley songs for possibly until Christmas. Don't do them sat on the toilet eating a cheeseburger though, Richard. Classic FM having the ultimate Classic FM chart from Friday, Saturday for this channel's 25th anniversary, since it started in 7th of September. Lovely. Nice. Neil being accidentally ill as he hurted his fingers while he was cutting his grass with his strimmer. That sounds like a particularly nasty injury if you hurt your fingers while strimming grass. Definitely the sharp spinny end of a strimmer you don't go near with anything. Toes, fingers, nose, nowhere. Just stay away from it, it's bad news. He's been to the Percy Shaw Wetherspoons on Sunday and he had a free Coke. Look at you. GCSE results, yeah, it's been GCSE this week. He's going to go swimming in Keighley on Monday. He was going to be walking from Brighouse to Elland instead of swimming in Huddersfield on Monday, but there you are, he's going to go Keighley swimming instead, so very good. Right, that's enough for me now. I'm going to go in. So have a good weekend and week next week, and I'll catch you in next week's coffee vlog. Okay, see ya.